Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Bears of a Certain Age. If it's a Monday, it's your two favorite podcast bears, Scott and Jonny. How we doing, buddy?
Exactly, doing really good. We're still a little cold, but
Little cold, little tired. Late night last night. Oscars ran late as usual, right?
They start early and end late. That's because you have to get the red carpet, so you start early, and then
A lot of people record them, so we're not going to go into any spoilers this week. Last week we talked about the fashion of what we were hoping to see, and so we'll talk a little bit about that. But let's talk about what we were hoping to see last night, and then our listeners can compare to what actually happened here.
Bears got the best of me. Bears on my fantasy. Bears into what I like. We do it all night, all right. Bears that don't discriminate. I take a cover chop to circumnavigate. Steal my heart and let it percolate all night, all right. Bears got the best of me. Bears on my fantasy. Bears into what I like. We do it all night, all right. Bears.
Yeah, and you never know, honestly, and so everybody decide who you want to see, but there were some things that I am mad that weren't at the Oscars.
Right.
There were some movies I wish would have been there, but queer movies are typically overlooked. You know what I mean?
We had a lot of representations here. We got to say that. I mean, we had our first time. We had two openly gay actors playing openly gay characters. So first time for that. So that's always kind of good with Nyad and with Rustin. But yeah.
Yeah. So back in the day, did you ever watch the comedy show, My Big Gay Sketch Show?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the minute I was watching Rustin, I was like, wait a minute. I recognize the nostrils especially. And all I kept thinking was, I just keep thinking Maya Angelou. And I forgot he played Maya Angelou on the Big Gay Sketch Show reading Craigslist Naughty Naughty ads. And it was my favorite thing ever. And then to see his face, I mean, obviously he's done things since then, but that's what and he was an amazing actor. Rustin was a great movie. He deserved, deserved all the recognition.
Well, it's like you said, I've seen him in some smaller things before, but until Rustin in Color Purple, I had kind of, honestly, he wasn't on my radar anymore in different projects for a bit. And then he does these two powerful performances in two powerful movies. Right. So I got to tell you, I didn't tell you yet, but I had to switch it up for our big gay road trip we're going to be doing in July. I was hoping to partner. We're going to partner with two charities and make some money for some charities. One, the Palm Springs LGBTQ Center, of course, for being down there. And I was trying to do my local Youngstown Pride Center, but the logistics didn't work out. They have a lot of other things going on. So I am partnering with the Akron, the Bayard Rustin LGBTQIA Center in Akron, Ohio. So it kind of ties into that.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. They are... it's primarily serving the Black community, but open to everyone. They have drop-ins 5 days a week. They're open for anyone to come in, trans, gay, and everything. So I'm so excited to raise some money for them. So we'll talk about that more in the coming months. But yeah, it kind of tied into Rustin here, so I loved it.
We should see if Coleman is available. Maybe he's in Palm Springs. We don't know.
Exactly.
And then he can just come on over. Since we're going to be raising
the ball. Come on over. I love it.
Right? For his namesake. It'll be perfect. That was a really good movie, though. I enjoyed it. But, okay, so people are going to hear me talk about this twice, because I talked about it on my recent film show. Tell me what you thought. You saw the movie way before I was able to see it. I felt like it was well done. Obviously, Dustin Lance Black, he was one of the writers. I love him. Got the Oscar, of course, for Milk way back in the day. It felt like something was missing. Like, it was so good, and yet I feel like they could have gone a little more, because other stuff was happening. But It was well performed, but when it was over, I'm like, I feel like that's not over.
Yeah, I don't know if it was to just get people to recognize the character for people that want, because I did not know. I mean, I say character; it's a real life person, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But it's like I was not familiar with who Bayard was before I saw the movie all the way through. So I think it was a lot of exposition. I think you're right; it kind of missed some things in the story elements.
Right.
It wasn't a documentary; it was a movie, right? So I think you're right. I think it was probably missing a couple of story elements that I would have liked to see.
It just
felt
a little like.
But yeah.
Everybody was amazing. The writing, of course, was really good. I just felt like, can we delve a little more? Because he was such a proud, unapologetic gay man at a time when that wasn't popular. He was also, they were doing the March on Washington, so African Americans were still fighting to be seen and respected. So I was like, oh my God, there's so much here. But you know what? But like you said, I think it's been a whisper. I've heard of him, but I didn't know anything. So maybe this is how we start. We start whispering about it, and we see this. His performance was amazing, and then we can grow it. But yeah, because we want more Dustin Lance Black. We want more.
Exactly. And you talked about your pig party the other day. I'm sure everyone saw it. It was an amazing job you did out in Seattle there. How much fun was that, and how much hard work was that?
Both. It was wonderful. I'd never worked with this crew on an actual set.
Right.
They hadn't worked on an actual set. You know me, I have big vision. And then all of a sudden I have to put it together. So I do have to say, we had the best crew I could have ever asked for. Everybody was down to get the work done, so it wasn't stress. We got there, the venue, I got it off of Pure Space. For anybody who's out there, if you need ever to do, you can do recording studios, dance stuff, all of these things. Pure Space is amazing, and the guy I rented this space from was amazing, so thank you, Mark is his name. Beautiful, but you can only rent it for whatever time period, so I had only given us 3 hours. So I told everybody, we get in, you have a half hour to start filming, and then we only have an hour and a half, and then we have to break out for it's when you do a production schedule, it's very quick. And I warned everybody it was what we call a turn and burn in the business, which is sometimes the budget does not allow, especially if you're going on location, doesn't allow you to relax and party or hang out. And I love Seattle. I was like, we left at 5 a.m, and we got back to our cars at 10 p.m. So it was a 17-hour day. Wow. And we were all wrecked. And poor Kurt, he drove us all the way over and then halfway back, and then we needed to switch drivers or else Kurt was going to die, and so were we. But I have to say, I have never felt... It's been a long time since I have felt so much in that creative stream.
Oh, no.
I'm excited about what we did. I'm excited about what we talked about. And everybody keeps telling me this.
What was your favorite segment? It was an amazing piece of work, but what was your favorite segment while you were doing it?
When Nathan Box, who's our film critic, when he made a cocktail and we're behind the bar, and it's based on one of the movies we're actually going to talk about. So that was fun because it was different. It was fun, and we got to drink while we filmed. So, but what people don't understand is to do that, you have to buy a liquor license to go with that. It's a whole thing, but so much fun. But my favorite thing was feeling like let's be honest, feeling like I was a princess, because I had 2 stylists, and they were surrounding me. They were doing my hair. They were pinning things. And there's a moment where Nathan stops before we start filming, and he goes, I just need to say that everything that's going on here, I've never met this man, and it's very different. And I'm like, and that's the goal.
That's hilarious.
It was worth it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think people are going to enjoy it. Talking movies is mine and Nathan's favorite thing. Right. And just in time, we did it just in time. And so I like that. Plus, I love breaking down movies. We talked about some that weren't even at the Oscars, but things that we thought were good. So it was good. I'm excited to share it with you. I'm excited to share it with the world. And then just keep up in that game. So,
This has
Because
been an
we're doing the
exciting
same
season
thing.
for me. This is my first time as part of the Entertainment Critics Association that I'm in, the Gay and Lesbian Entertainment Critics. So we finally announced our big award winners on Monday of this week. So that was exciting. And our what I think we're most proudest of is we finally gave strangers their due, right? It's like,
Thank you.
It's been.
Thank you. Yeah,
I think it's been so long coming and it got looked over by so many different awards and everything that.
I'm glad you guys finally did it because it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if you haven't had a chance to see the movie All of Us Strangers, Adam Scott, Paul Mescal, Claire Foy, Jamie Bell. It is not only is it really well done, but it talks about an experience for gay men that from an angle we don't normally talk about.
Right.
And it's beautiful. And so I was in shock that it didn't get, I mean, that's what Nathan made a drink based on that movie.
Oh, nice.
And it's great. We're going to release the rest because it's actually pretty delicious. But I'm so glad you guys looked at it and were like, we need to give you something.
I was proud of a couple of events. We put that as both best overall movie and best LGBTQ movie. So, and then we also did for the screenplay. So I was excited about that. I was also excited that we're only 500 strong, right? We're kind of like the Hollywood Foreign Press. We're not a jillion of us. There's only 500 of us. And so the other thing I was proud of is I gave Greta Gerwig the best director because she's been so overlooked with Oscars. So
you guys are my heroes.
We gave her the best director, so well deserved.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so those are. I mean, we have a whole list. If you ever go, it's a Galeca, Galeca, the Dorian Awards. Go and check it out. But I was very proud. I was probably at 50 or 60% in the winners circle, which I'm very happy with. As far as I'm concerned, all the films we nominated were amazing. So it was kind of.
I think it's so great. I trust smaller groups than I do like. How many are at the Academy, who are voting there. So I think you guys have the sweet spot. And listen, two of the biggest films that the biggest awards I wanted, you guys already nailed them. So I think you guys are doing good.
It was good. I felt good about it. I felt very, like I said, I was happy. We did 21 categories, and like I said, probably 60%. But I was proud of all our categories and all the people we had in it. We gave Jodie Foster a special award. Give the honorary awards. Jodie Foster got one from us, and her performance in Naiad was fantastic, along with Annette Bening, of course.
Annette Bening, I love her so much.
Ever since American President, she won my heart. I mean, she's been in a lot of good things, but I think American President's where she really won me over.
She was the only woman who could tame Warren Beatty. The only one. Right? Yeah.
It's kudos.
I think that's so cool. I'm so excited. I'm just hearing that. This is the first time, so for everybody, it's the first time I heard that you guys had done that, and that just does my heart so good. And so, now, are there ways people can make sure they see what you guys are doing?
We do have. I mean, there's a social media page. There's a Twitter page. There's a website for Galeca, Galeca. You can look it up, and it's nice because we have entertainment reporters from everything. You have people from Entertainment Tonight. You have people from one of our producers is this beautiful trans woman who produces on the Kelly Clarkson show. We have people on it. So we have all these great different people from different walks of life that are different parts of the creative. We have some podcast. I'm among, I think, about maybe 10 podcasters, the 500. So it's very cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
You need to send me all of I want to follow and fanboy out on all of it. So send me the links. I want to add it. Because this is what I tell you. Tell me if you tell yourself the same thing. Anytime I'm stressed or I have a bazillion things going on, I remind myself that I get to do some cool shit that not everybody gets to do. Right. And so I need to suck it up and just understand. I would imagine you feel that way with a lot of these things you get to do.
For the first year, it was a little overwhelming because, like I was telling you off air when we talked, that I was getting a DVD every day, 5 a day, that I felt like I had to watch every single one to be able to be a critic on it and watch it. So it was overwhelming at first until I kind of fell into a system. But yeah, then it was like God, how blessed am I to get some great little promo things, be able to see some films that I may have never been able to see, that I didn't have to leave my happy butt off my couch. I can stream them onto my TV. That was another beautiful thing. So yeah, we're very lucky in a lot of ways and things like that.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. I will learn a little more each year from it, but yeah, this was a great learning year.
I always tell Nathan every year at this time, I hate him as much as I love him because neither of us have a lot of time. So I don't typically watch movies. That's sitting still time that I can't. And let's be honest, out of now that we have like 10 nominations in the Best Picture, a lot of them were subtitles. So I can't work on my laptop and watch a movie.
Right.
But I tell him every year he gives me my assignments. He says, I want to talk about these movies. Because he's watched all 53. I have not, but I will watch the ones he tells me. So he gives me a list of like 15 and 20 movies, and I get 6 weeks to try to shove them all in my brain. Is it worth it? I watched some amazing films thanks to Nathan, but it's a lot. So that's why I always say, I hate you a lot, and I love you a lot.
Well, you were so kind to share Nathan with us, and now Nathan does a segment for me as well with our Bent Cinema. But you're right. He lives and breathes all things movies, pop culture, entertainment. Yeah. His website's beautiful with his photography and everything. It's just amazing.
And he's redone it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15 years in, doing his amazing career. I actually asked him, I'm like, how do you have time for a relationship? And, you know, his fiancée, Brandon, is an accomplished jazz pianist. So they both love what they do, and then you make time in the middle. And I thought, that's probably the secret. Someday, maybe I'll put that theory to test. But
there you go. I think when you have the right guy, you probably find the time management skills, right guy or girl. But
I get
maybe, maybe. Who knows?
I love that. So we get, we share notes with each other on day of, you know what I mean? With a lot. I wanted to see, and I'll go through it and I'll highlight things that I find interesting that I'm like, I need to know more, or how can we explore this? One of the things, Nathan actually says that this year is a better showing for 2023 queer movies. I feel last year was a really strong showing. But you mentioned, Brendan Fraser winning for The Whale last year. He was neither gay nor chubby, and yet he played a gay, chubby man. And I want to kind of expand upon that note. So what were you thinking when you were writing that note?
It was a problematic at the time. I remember it being problematic at the time when he won.
Representation.
He got all the awards, but and we've talked about it in different shows. We had a great conversation with Joshua Pangborn last week about chubby actors being able to play any kind of character, right? Yeah. And putting that in. And Brendan Fraser's an amazing actor. I've loved him in things forever.
Crazy amazing.
I mean, crazy good actor, and so the acting deserved every bit of it. Do we need the fat suit? Do we need someone in a fat suit, someone playing a gay that wasn't, because there are other people that could have done it? Probably just as well. I mean, there's some very good actors. So I'm just kind of saying it as I like the real representation, as opposed to having Coleman Domingo and Jodie Foster playing actual gay characters by actual gay people. And so I like that kind of change. For the Lily, what's her name, that's probably going to be doing the Best Supporting Actress from Flowers of the Moon. Yes. She's a she, they, and very much identifies in community. So another one that's people are owning their truth as they do this. So I'm kind of, that's how I meant by this year being a little more.
I love that. We're not talking enough about representation in the world in general. So I love that. And it was a moment of I was torn, because obviously he did amazing. But do you know what it reminded me of? Remember when Gwyneth Paltrow put on a fat suit for Shallow Hal?
Oh, right.
And it was like, it was so, and especially it makes less sense now that we know more about her personality. But it is interesting, because I don't think until Brendan Fraser had I ever stopped and thought, we're always talking about, is the gay guy getting represented? Are we letting a gay actor? It never crossed my mind that, wait, I'm a fat guy. Why is there a guy who's not fat playing? So I was torn, because the movie was brilliant. And Brendan was brilliant. I'm glad it got made, the movie, and I'm glad it got awards. But I'm with you. You're torn because we're so trained to accept
Right.
that, you know what I mean? So it's hard because so happy for him, love that movie. But at the same time, it's like, wait, there are plenty of out actors, and I can guarantee there's plenty of us chubby guys wanting our shot.
Right.
So visibility, so important this year more than ever because it's an election season. So it's I love talking about it, but I don't know. I don't have an answer for the past, but hopefully we can make it better as we move forward. But I'm with you. I thought that's why you brought it up, which is why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, I just like that there's more representation this year. Like I said, great job. It's nothing against Brendan Fraser whatsoever. It's against the casting and what could be, and producers turning a blind eye to what's possibly out there for the best person for the job. Could Brendan be the best actor for the job? Yeah, maybe there's not a chubby gay actor that can handle that kind of a role. I'm all for that. If that's in the screening process, then sure, that's great. But
And I mean, the goal someday, it's way far away, is that we don't have to be labeled. But until then, and listen, Brendan, if you're watching, which of course you are, we welcome you to come on and have this conversation with us. We'll take you. Brendan, come join the Bears.
And he only has to wear his little Royal Canadian Mountie outfit once. I won't make him wear it all night.
I mean, and then let's revisit the loincloth.
Well, I was saving that for you because I knew that with your underwear fetish, I knew that was coming up on your side, right?
Exactly. But I love that you brought that up. But I do think already we're seeing a little better representation, so I'm hoping that continues to grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And listen, everybody, Scott.
Gay characters not portrayed by gay actors, which is fine. I mean, there's going to be that's going to happen, but that they're on screen is a win as far as I'm concerned. A lot of the time,
casting directors Scott and I are available, so maybe check with us first and then move on. That's what I would say.
There you go. I love it. Yeah, Nimona was an animated film that had a non-binary character, so that was exciting. There was a lot of different things out there this year that had representation in it, and so it's getting a little better each time.
And I've noticed that animation is stepping up more and more.
Right.
That we're being seen, and I'm still so shocked. But, more and more over the years, we're getting represented, all of the queer rainbow. And I think that's amazing.
Well, and everyone's doing. I think a big part of it had to do with the Oscars So White movement, like 3 or 4 years ago, when there wasn't much black representation, and they kind of really stood up for themselves. And so I think everyone's kind of any part of a minority or something that's not feeling represented is feeling a little more open to speak about it now, right?
Right. Why are we still having issues in 2024 with women? Exactly. Why aren't we representing more women? Do you know that in the history of the Academy Awards, there's only been 17 women nominated for Best Director?
Right.
And so that's why it was so shocking that Greta Gerwig was not one of them in that category. Now, they did, what was it? Something of interest, Zone of Interest.
Oh, right.
That director got in there. I watched the movie. I still think Greta should have been. In. I mean, it was a great movie, but Barbie should have been.
And even if the movie wasn't everyone's cup of tea, which I think everyone that watched it enjoyed it, but even if it wasn't, the groundbreaking nature of it, I mean, just the looks of it, the songs with it, that it made this huge box office. There was so many things to consider that those things don't get made on their own, right? It has to come from a director's vision a lot of the time. So
right.
It was kind of amazing. She got looked over for it.
How many of the best pictures were you able to see?
I was able to see 8 out of 10, and I read a lot of the 2 that I didn't see. So, because I got the screener. So, like I said, I was able to watch it from the comfort of my couch, which was nice.
I had the same, that's my same numbers. I didn't get 2. Which ones didn't you get to see? I'm very curious. If it's the same, then we're twins and the world is weird right now.
Now, see, I got to remember what they were. I could tell you all the ones I
know
saw.
if we could see the list, we would
I know. I need to see the list because I can tell you which ones I voted for. But
Poor Things, I did not get to see Poor Things with Emma Stone, and I hate that.
Poor
I'm
Things
gonna
I did
see
not
it,
see, and it's been getting a lot of buzz on a lot of things. I did not see Poor Things. What was the other one?
I know. I'm trying to think of.
I had my list of them, and I don't have.
Oh, I didn't see Poor Things, and I didn't see the bio. Well, not a biopic. The historical one about the Flower Moon. I forget what the name
the Flower Moon. I saw Flower Moon, A Child of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese's.
That was Martin Scorsese. I did see that one. What is the one? I don't know. It'll come to me. But
interesting that we didn't see Poor Things, both of us. Yeah.
Yeah. And it had a lot of good reviews. I mean, like I said, I read a lot about the two that I didn't see.
I'm dying to see it. Dying to see it.
The interesting thing, what was that? I had something I was going to say about. I just lost that thought. Trying to think of what I didn't see. I lost my other thought I was going to say. But yeah, I mean, it just. I think 10 movies. I understand why they did it to be more inclusive, and I'm kind of all about it. But it also makes 9 more losers. It used to be 4 losers. Now we're talking 9 losers.
Well, and at the same time,
it does give some notices films that might not have been noticed just because it was nominated. So I understand.
Well, there were 3 foreign films in there. Past Lives was my pick on foreign films. It was a Korean and American film. It was absolutely brilliant. Beautiful movie. But we don't see as many. So when they opened it up, they were allowed to bring in more foreign films to it. But I will say this, Academy, if you're listening, please don't make all of the other categories 10. It's going to be an 18-hour show. Just keep it where the best pictures are, and let's keep everything else 5, because it's going to get out of hand real quick.
Did you happen to see Kokomo City, the documentary, by chance?
I wanted to. I have not seen it.
Amazing show about black trans call girls, I guess is the best way to say it, or everything. Very interesting. It's more of a kind of a documentary type show. It is a documentary. That's what it won our award for in Galecka. But it was a very interesting show. I think that was probably one of the more interesting ones that I saw this year too. I really enjoyed it.
See, I do love, if I had more time, I would love to do like what Nathan does. He doesn't have a bunch of time either, but it's important to him, is watch, as many of the movies, because I love it all. I love short form. I love documentaries. I love animation. I'm a nerd when it comes to film. It's so much fun.
I just remember what I was going to say, because one of the good things that I do like about being part of Galecka is I have this community to reach out to. Like Nathan today emailed me, and he's only not seen one documentary that's nominated for the Academy Awards this year. And he said, do you happen to have the screener? And it's the one screener that I can't find. I either never got it or lost it. But because I have that, I was able to reach out and say, hey, who's promoting this thing? And so I got to reach out to the director today and everything. So hopefully I'll hear back from him in time. But
because he has been
kind
working.
Of fun to be able to reach out to these people that are promoting these films. So I do like.
He's been working hard to find that movie, and he reached out to them because he saw them comment on something, and he's like, "Oh my God, where can I see it?" Yeah, they had nothing for him. So he's been. I
reached out to get it. It's distributed by the Canadian Film Board, so I reached out to them, and I got a note back from them today that said, "Go to the director and producer of it," who I had already also reached out to. So I'm hoping to hear from her by tomorrow. But the Canadian Film Board that distributes it did get back to me right away and say, "Sorry, out of luck, you got to get it from this girl." So we'll see what happens.
You're about to be Nathan's hero, and I love it. I love that so much. Well, as we wind down, what are final thoughts about films this year?
Like I said, overall, I thought it was it was a good comeback year. I mean, we just had a slow burn back from the pandemic, and I think we're seeing things. I think the writer's strike and the director's strike did not help anything, so it slowed it down even more. I'm on a couple of really interesting newsletters, so I find a lot of kind of things that are happening on streaming for the first time, overtook pay TV for the very first time in this last quarter. So I think the landscape is changing fast. There's things are being sold, Paramount's being sold, and things are being bought. But as far as the movies themselves this year, I was very happy the representation this year. I was very happy with the amount of product coming out until we had the strike and everything. They couldn't promote it. A lot of things still came out. They just weren't able to promote it.
I would say my only concern for next year is, you know, how everything, from politics to whatever, you're always behind it. You know, like that someone who's coming into term is their first term is to clean up the last person's mess.
Right.
I wonder if, like, I loved the movies this year. I wonder if the strike lasting as long as it did might not show its presence until the 2025 season for the Oscars. You know what I mean?
Right.
So which is why I tell everybody what I will tell you all the time. Support your independent artists, because it's indie movies that might be able to capitalize on that, because most of them didn't have to deal with those same contracts. I mean, part of it is because we're not getting paid a lot as indie artists, and we're not beholden to the studios. So it's a double-edged sword.
Well, they just had the Berlin Film Festival, and the medium-length independent films was probably the biggest hits in Berlin Film Festival. It's another one where in the U.S. it's usually Sundance and everything that gets them known and people buy and distribute it more. This Berlin Film Festival is a lot for the European market, and then eventually a lot will come here as well. But at the Berlin Film Festival that was earlier this month, they had a lot of those shorter form, maybe not full length, but maybe 3/4 length independent movies that were huge. Exactly what you're talking about. So it could be very interesting to see what happens next year.
So it'll be fun. I love all the art forms when it comes to creativity, but I do love films. We want to know what you guys thought of the Oscars. What did you guys think? Did your films get either recognized or even get to go to the Oscars? We have an email. You can either find us on Instagram, of course, Bears of a Certain Age, or podcastbears at Gmail, and I would love to hear what you guys think. You guys really like to comment on our Instagram, so do that as well. But I'd love to hear what you thought of the films this year, and maybe what are you looking forward to that you know is coming that isn't out yet. So that'll be fun.
We appreciate any comments, any feedback you can give us. When you watch us on YouTube, give us a little thumbs up. That helps them share their algorithm. They share it with more people. Same thing, wherever you happen to find it, just kind of share that, and that'll let more people find the Bears, and we'll go from there. I love it.
More people should find the Bears. That's just a general life rule. So
exactly.
But we love some bear hugs. You have some bear hugs to share, don't you?
I do have a couple bear hugs I wanted to share before we wrap up today. Two great ones. First off, we have Richard Poole. Him and his husband started watching because he's a huge fan of Joshua Pangborn. So he watched our episode last week with Joshua, said it was amazing. I'm a member of his Crewniverse, and he follows him all the time. Now, because of your great show, I started following your podcast. I'm 74 years young, and me and my husband are going to be listening to all of your episodes. So I love that. So Richard Poole, hi, Richard. Thanks so much for tuning in and doing that. And the second one, it was great. It's like, hi, guys. I recently discovered your podcast. I'm in the process of listening to every episode. I'm now listening on episode 11 of last season. Your discussions are a lot of fun. I'd like to extend a big bear hug to Tony and his staff at Little Devil's Lounge in Denver, Colorado. Tony and crew have created the perfect neighborhood bar. The gays love it, but everyone's welcome. Tony allowed us to host a celebration of life for one of our very special friends last year, Davis. In January, so they just wanted to shout out that bar and hope we'll stop by Denver. And the road trip just happens to be going through Denver this year, so I think I may be stopping.
And Denver's an amazing city. It's an amazing city there. So exactly. Colorado is a fun state. So
keep those bear hugs coming in. Thank you so much to David. Thank you so much to Kurt for sending those in to us. Not David, to Richard Poole and Kurt. We appreciate them. Thank you.
Love it. I think that's amazing. We love hearing from you guys. So remember, always we always want your feedback. I love getting new fans watching our show. It's all about representation, and bears of a certain age have to represent as well.
Exactly.
So we're here from you. Support the arts, since we've been talking about film. But thank you, my friend. This has been fun.
We appreciate you. We'll be here every Monday. Just tune in, share with your friends, and we will see you next Monday. Thanks so much for tuning in to Bears of a Certain Age. Thanks, Jonny. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bears on my fantasy.